Hey wait, isn't this another build engine game? You say accusingly in my head, because no one actually watches these. Why, yes it is. Originally this was going to be a review of Far Cry 3, but that game just kept crashing. So until I fix that, let's just take a look at some more old games, shall we? You might need a mop for this one. Blood is a first-person shooter developed by Monolith Productions and published by GT Interactive Software for the PC back in 1997. It's one of the holy trinity of build engine games, along with Duke Nukem 3D and the probably soon-to-be reviewed Shadow Warrior. Now I fucking love Duke 3D, that game was a blast, but is Blood? Well, yeah, probably. We wouldn't still be talking about it if it was boring, now would we? So you remember how Duke 3D only kind of had a plot? Well, Blood also kind of has a plot. You play as Caleb, an Old West gunslinger who falls in love with a woman called Ophelia, and like all good relationships, he ends up joining his new girlfriend in some wholesome activities, like brisk walks on the beach, picnics under the sun, and sacrifices to the dark god Chernobog. Wait, what? So yeah, instead of joining a book club, Caleb and Ophelia end up in the Cabal, a group of crazy robe-wearing weirdos who praise the dark god Chernobog, a big goat skeleton ripped straight off an 80s metal album cover, and current owner of this little band of freaks. They quickly rise up the ranks, joining two other members, Gabriel and Ishmael, as Chernobog's Chosen, seemingly the highest rank attainable in the Cabal. The game starts with Chernobog calling a meeting where he and his minions promptly betray and kill the Chosen for some reason, or shits and giggles, it's up to interpretation really, and Caleb is cast into a shallow grave.
Consider my power in a hollow grave.
I live again.
I love it. 10 out of 10. Do it again. Back in the saddle and only half rotten, it's up to Caleb to shoot, explode and fork his way through the Cabal and its monsters on his way to Chernobog and vengeance. The game mostly tells you all this via cutscenes before and after each episode. They haven't exactly aged that well. I'm pretty sure these guys are made of plasticine. Not that any of that really matters, as Caleb makes up for any possible issues in spades. Caleb does not give a fuck. I fucking love Caleb in this game. And while Duke 3D was an homage to action films, Blood is one to horror films. I mean, if you saw this cover and still needed me to tell you that, I'm not sure I can help you. But while Duke eventually got old, tired, and had his skin hollowed out and worn by Randy Pitchford, and Shadow Warrior's Lo Wang got a reboot and a remaster, Caleb was left in the shadows to be forgotten. But even if Fresh Supply didn't exist, I would not forget Caleb. The man has the best fucking voice in all of gaming.
Wow, this promises to be fun.
Duke has John St. John. Caleb has the amazing, sinister voice of Stephen Waite. I want this man to read everything in my life. His voice fits Caleb like a blood-soaked, talking, psychotic glove, and if anyone else voiced him, it just wouldn't work. I haven't heard a single person who could even come close. Just leave him idle and listen to him sing.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
It's great, I love it. No complaining like Duke. Caleb is a patient man zombie thing. He also voiced something in the more recent retro game, Dusk. Soon. Now, if only I could understand what the cultists were saying. Now, Caleb being a gunslinger, you hope he finds some pretty good guns in his journey. Oh yeah, there's a few. This is one of the rare cases where I love almost every gun in this game. All of them have a secondary firing mode, in case you need more ways to turn the droves of heretical filth into chunky salsa, which is always nice. You start off with a pitchfork for all your farming needs. It's great to use on zombies to save ammo, as long as you can manage that hokey-cokey dance to avoid damage. Instead of a pistol, in this game you get a flare gun. A flare gun, you say? But that sounds terrible. Well, congratulations on being horribly wrong. The flare gun is amazing, even way later in the game. On Lightly Broiled, the difficulty I played on, it takes one regular shot to set zombies on fire, or cultists, and one blast of the secondary fire to burn the entire level down. The whole running around screaming thing is a bit horrifying. Now, if you dig that kind of thing, you'll love the game's equivalent for a flamethrower. It's literally just a spray can the lighter, because while Duke has futuristic alien weapons, Caleb has to make do with what he has. I mean, it's not like he needs all that alien shit. He's got enough dynamite to level the surface of Mars. Oh, the dynamite is so good! The explosions don't just turn the enemies into mist, not that that's a bad thing? That sounds really weird out of context. They actually have splash damage. It throws enemies around like fucking pinballs. A lot of modern games don't even do this. What the fuck? The secondary fire lets you lay the dynamite down. It's useful for traps, but you know what's more useful? Throwing it right in their face. You also get some remote detonators for more timed deletion, and proximity detonators for accidentally blowing yourself up when you backtrack and forget you threw dynamite around like confetti at a hardcore wedding. And the napalm launcher. The napalm launcher is a religious experience in gun form. Just make sure to hit reverse before firing. If you're into more conventional methods of demon slaying, then don't worry. Blood's got you covered. The sawn-off shotgun, for a start, is amazing. Fire one shell or two, either way, it delivers buckshot satisfaction. With its pure power, it's even quite useful on later game enemies because it can actually push enemies back quite a distance, giving you enough breathing room to pull out something more effective. Need the whole room clearing out? Pull out that Thompson and spray until your trigger finger falls off. Or just hold the secondary fire and activate desk fan mode. The Tesla cannon makes me think dirty thoughts I'd hide from my therapist, and the voodoo doll is possibly one of the most unique weapons I've seen in any game. It also makes zombies turn to dust, and anything that can do that shit gets my vote. Oh, shit. And who decapitated Skeletor? And why does he now fire lasers out of his eyes? Okay, you can just stand over there and work things out. Speaking of working things out, where the fuck am I? Much like Duke 3D, the levels are quite labyrinthian. I mean, I can be pretty stupid, but fuck me, this is like getting hammered, wandering into a hedge maze and losing all your keys, individually. I got lost far more in this game than I ever did back with Duke. Doesn't help that every door seems to be locked, so you better like backtracking, because those keys aren't going to find themselves. Now don't get me wrong here, I do enjoy most of the levels. The atmosphere in them is pretty great, and they don't feel samey unlike a lot of shooters nowadays. From abandoned funeral homes,
Open for business.
to dark carnivals,
Over the lips, through the gums, look out to me, here I come.
to the arsehole of an elder god. There are a lot of unique lands to smear entrails all over. Also continuing the old shooter trend are the secrets, except they're a lot more fun here, like the napalm launcher in the first level. Now that's just unfair. For them, I mean. For me, it's Christmas. It's not like the enemies really need any more help anyway. They already hit like damn freight trains, and the cultists have mastered the dark, ancient art of hit scan. So a room of 3 or 4 cultists can rip you to shreds pretty damn quickly. And fuck those goddamn hellhounds. Stop setting Caleb on fire. He's full of dynamite. This will not end well. So yeah, this game can be hard as nails at times. Okay, most of the time. But wait, there's more. As if the hellhounds weren't enough, you also have the fucking insane gargoyles that speed around like crazy, making them hard to hit, but they apparently don't have much of a lower spine because they can't hit you if you duck. So, you'd better hope Caleb has good knees, or this will end pretty fast. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the...
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
Okay, well that's now in my nightmares, thanks for that. Also, rats work for the Cabal apparently. And disembodied hands. And tiny Calebs? These tiny enemies are pretty damn annoying, as you either have to waste ammo on them or risk getting hit or choked by forking them. And they will hit you. Their hitbox is a lot bigger than you'd think. The rats don't do a lot of damage unless a squeaking gets to you, then roll for sanity I guess. But the hands will choke the fuck out of you and drain your health unless you mash the use key. Sounds fun, right? The tiny Calebs just shoot you, which is always fun. Now, most episodes will furnish you with enough ammo to deal with these problems, except for episode 1. If you want to get the cool shit, you'd better be prepared to work for it. Not that you'll really need to work much to beat the first boss, Chiog. He's the stone gargoyle who took Ophelia at the beginning of the game. Yeah, she's kinda dead now.
Show yourself! Show yourself!
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Once you've dealt with his bitches, he'll float on in, ready to fight. Hold that crouch button down like he'd owed you money and don't accidentally set yourself on fire and I'm sure you'll be fine. Once he's been grounded, Caleb gives Ophelia a Viking funeral and gives Chiog the double tap just to make sure he stays down. The second episode seems to give far more ammo and is far more liberal with our gargoyle friends, with the new and improved stone gargoyles flowing in, so you have something to use all that Tesla gun ammo on. Not that I'd need an excuse to actually use that gun, but hey-ho. Oh, fuck me. This is Sheol, boss of the second episode. She's a giant spider, and I hate everything she stands for. She's not a tough boss. The hardest part of this fight is not singeing your eyebrows off with a napalm launcher. I just hate spiders. Burn the bitch, let Caleb finish the job, and let Caleb eat Gabriel's heart? I wasn't that desperate for health, Caleb. Jesus. Well then, on to episode 3, I guess.
I'm gonna paint the town red.
Again, this episode gives you enough ammo to wipe out a small country and enough enemies to repaint the Sistine Chapel, so have fun with that. That can't be good. Everybody, say hello to episode 3's boss, Cerberus. I imagine he's a tough fight, but he kind of derped the fuck out and got stuck, so I nuked him. And as usual, Caleb makes sure he stays down.
Rest in pieces.
Well, now that the rest of the Chosen have been, saved? Yeah, let's run with that. It's time for old goat boy, Chernobog. Episode 4 brings us the wondrous Hellhounds, an enemy type that makes me want to throw myself into a fucking volcano. Just stop, please. After fighting through an Elder God's colon, you finally make it to the Hall of Epiphany, where the Dark God Chernobog resides.
I have awaited you.
Why did you cast us down? How did we fail you?
You were always loyal to me. You most of all, my child.
Then why?
Because I knew you would return. Can you not see? Every life that you have taken has made you stronger. And you have returned to me with a greater sacrifice than I ever could have wished. With the power you bring, I shall throw open the door between the worlds and inherit the earth.
Is that so?
Come to me, my son. Let us embrace at last.
Fool, you are already dead.
He brought friends for one last swing at you. Funny thing is, they're the hardest part of this boss fight. Chernobog himself must have forgotten he was a god, because he's an easy motherfucker to take down. I took him down with the power of voodoo after many failed attempts at getting Cerberus and Chernobog to fight it out like satanic Pokemon. With Chernobog now dead, Caleb inherits his power and becomes the new Dark God.
Delivered us from evil, for thine is the kingdom.
I mean, he's already doing a better job than Cherno because Caleb does not fuck around. Can't betray your followers if you don't have any. This journey isn't over though. Oh no. Now we have the expansions. The first one I played was Post-Mortem, a whole new episode made by Monolith for the Plasma Pack expansion. Apparently there's a story. I feel that might be a lie because it isn't really mentioned at all throughout this journey. Apparently, Caleb finds out the Cabal are trying to train a new set of Chosen. Because that went so well the last time. And now Caleb's gotta kill them all. I'm not as enthralled with the levels in this expansion as I was with the main game. Which is kind of funny, as some of these maps are just slightly tweaked versions of maps from the leaked Blood Alpha. They're still not bad, I just feel like they're a lot more labyrinthian, which is kind of an achievement, seeing as the main game was just a fucking entire maze made of murder. Speaking of murder, the new enemies make me question my continued existence. Remember the cultists? They came in 2 different flavours in the main game, chocolate buckshot and licorice machine gun. They were easily dispatched in small numbers, but could chip away at you quite efficiently in packs, or when they lob dynamite in your face instead of facing you like a man. Well, take those 2, make them green and blue, make one only throw bundles of dynamite, and give the other a Tesla gun. then placed them in almost every level along with copious hellhounds and this fucking spider cunt, and you might begin to see why I had some problems with this expansion. I still enjoyed my time with Postmortem, but that's mostly because at its core, it's still blood. Pull that shit in any other shooter and I might have to consider not playing your game. Also, the final bosses are just 4 cultists chosen, who turn into beasts upon death and hurt way too fucking much when they get up close and personal. Word of advice? As much as you want to, don't use the napalm launcher. It just throws the beasts closer to you so they can stomp you some more. Yeah, thanks, I hate it. Then once you've killed them, it just ends. No text, no cutscene, just main menu. I did enjoy most of it, but that's just disappointing and lazy. After Postmortem just kind of farted out, I moved on to Cryptic Passage. Apparently originally titled Passage to Transylvania, spooky. It was developed by Sunstorm Interactive, published by WizardWorks Software, and from what I can tell is the only non-Monolith developed expansion pack that actually became part of Blood's canon. Technically this was the first expansion to be released, but I got them the wrong way round and kinda don't give a shit, so let's just move on. Aside from the new episode and some multiplayer maps I didn't play, there isn't anything else new added really, but hey, that means these smarty motherfuckers can piss right off back to the hell they came from, so I'll count that as a plus. Now there is a story, but again it's barely there, because you don't really need it, do you? You just need more guns and ammo. Basic rundown, someone stole a magic scroll from Caleb. Caleb wants it back to use as a doormat, I don't know. Either way, you start on some boat docks and progress through some really good maps. In my opinion, put your pitchforks away, you'll get your chance someday. The aforementioned boat docks are pretty neat, but then you move on to an old abandoned opera house, a gothic library, you fight cultists on an old steamboat, and my personal favourite, the secret level Boggy Creek. No folk monsters here, just you, some robed nut jobs, a boat, and death? Weren't you selling me tickets earlier? It's a very well detailed level, which is pretty surprising seeing as it's a dirty old swamp. This shit's usually browner than diarrhea, but this is actually kinda spooky for an old build engine game. Trekking through old busted cabins looking for cultists hidden among the trees and taking one last boat ride to the end of the level. I really liked this level for some reason. Maybe I'm an idiot, I don't know. Right after, you move on to the Mountain Pass, a level I found annoying because I kept getting lost, so the high was short-lived I guess. Oops. Either way, after smashing your way through the mines, you arrive at the castle, where the scroll now resides, and is guarded by the Lord of all Nightmares, a horrifying creature ready to rip you to shreds, and it's just Cerberus.
This looks extraordinarily bad.
Oh, and his brother, Greg Perus? I guess that's different. I actually died a couple of times because, like me, Cerberus is rather taken with nuking the entire battlefield, which is a problem when the arena is really, really small. It still didn't save them. And after gluing himself back together, Caleb finally gets his scroll back. And an ending. I mean, yeah, it's just some text and a picture, but it's better than nothing. Compared to Postmortem's ending of just booting you back out the door, it's on par with Mass Effect. No, not that one. So yeah, I kinda liked Cryptic Passage better than Postmortem. Don't worry, I'll lynch myself after the video. Well, that's it for the expansions. Guess we're oh, fucking hell. Welcome to Death Wish, a fan-made mod by Dustin Blotoid Twilly? Why can't I pronounce anything? Starting all the way back in 2010 and reaching its latest 1.5 release back in 2018. I decided to play it as I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and fuck me does this mod start off promising. It has its own story, with cutscenes. That's some serious dedication put into just a mod, bravo. Basic story summary. Chernobog is back from the dead, having left his festering heart below a black tower with a magic talisman before his fight with Caleb, with that one last fragment of his human form hidden away. When Caleb destroyed his divine form, the heart started to beat again. Now in his human form, Chernobog seeks to reclaim his power, his divine form, and destroy Caleb and reality itself once and for all. And to stop Caleb from sensing this and ruining his plans, sends a distraction. Kills his dog, what the fuck? Leading us into episode 1, in cold blood. Episode 1 is an amazing start to this mod. It has some fantastic maps with effects I'd never thought I'd see in the build engine without bringing it to its knees. Portals to strange interdimensional structures, freaky mushroom trips, doors you just use disappearing, and my personal favourite, the previous room turning into a fucking hellscape. Yeah, I know it's all load zone and teleportation trickery, but I don't give a shit. It's really well done, and I like it. There's also another amusement park level, so that's neat. Also, Chernobog taunts you throughout the whole adventure, trying to catch you in traps and just generally to be a dick before running away like a bitch after you defeat his flying stone friend. You can't give chase yet, unfortunately. If you don't want him coming back like a bad rash in a highly sensitive area, you're going to need to destroy that talisman in episode 2, Star Trek. Seriously, that's barely a pun. In episode 2, Caleb goes to space. Because why not? He's been fucking everywhere else. I get it. Caleb raids the ship and blows it the fuck up, just to make sure everyone's dead on the inside and out, and jumps aboard an escape pod to get back to Earth. Oh look, another castle. Is this game set in England? Can I be Caleb? Anyway, the castle is full of freaky experiments, first-person platforming, and a train? How much fucking closet space does that take up? Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is about where I stopped. Not because the mod was getting bad, but, well, this script was getting long enough as it is, and I was all blooded out by this point. I'll finish the mod on my own time, and you should too. It's really fun, and well worth a go. Now let's wrap this up before the viscera stains the carpet. So, would I recommend playing Blood? Have you been listening? Yes I would. I had a lot of fun blasting, burning, and generally maiming my way through the Cabal's forces, and Caleb has to be one of the best first-person shooter protagonists ever made. His charming, snarky quips and vast array of weaponry are some of the best I've seen or heard in any game. And with the many different varieties of Cabal scum to paint all over the walls, you're always going to have targets to keep you entertained. Whether that entertainment carries over to the expansions is down to you. I definitely enjoyed the main game more, but they're still worth a go. The soundtrack is nice, but not super notable, and in my script right now it's telling me there's a lack of a remaster. Right as I was recording this audio, the remaster came out. Word of advice, I'd probably wait until a few patches have come out. There's a few niggling things that just feel a bit off. It's not terrible, but just give it a bit. Also, the Hellhounds make me want to kiss a moving train, but I'll take more of those over the sequel.